I had the wonderful opportunity growing up to have wonderful, awesome grandparents. By show of hands in the audience, who here has had awesome grandparents in their life? Wonderful, cool, awesome. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, oh, an honored guest. I'm going to share a little story about how my grandfather instilled in me many things. But this one particular one was when I was about 8 years old. It was during a summer break. I was spending a couple weeks with him. Now what you need to know is my grandfather liked to get up at 5 o'clock every morning. He'd make himself a cup of coffee. Folgers, he said, was good to the last drop. And he would make himself a little cup of coffee and get to the Davenport. Now, for some of you in this room, a Davenport is also known as a couch. He would sit there and read his Zen gray Western novels. Now, one Saturday morning, I decided I'd get up early with him because I like to look at the comic strips. But more importantly, I was waiting for the Saturday morning cartoons. And when they came on, I made my way over to the little black and white television set, and I turned it on, and there I plopped right in front of it. And then this commercial came on. And it had this young boy and this young girl, and they were running and they were jumping. Now this was the beginning of all tennis shoe wars. This was PF Flyers, the best little tennis shoe ever. And they were touting that if you wore these tennis shoes, you could run faster and you could jump higher. And when that commercial was over, I turned to my grandpa and I said, "Grandpa, you got to buy me these tennis shoes." Now my grandpa, he put down his book and he tilted his head and pulled down his glasses, and with his sky blue eyes and a big smile across his lips, he said this, "I hear you selling, but I ain't buying." "Grandpa, you're the richest guy I know. You can buy these tennis shoes." And with a big old smile, he says, "You're not getting it, son. I hear you selling, but I ain't buying. What's in it for me?" "What's in it for you, Grandpa? I don't think they make it in your size." I'm a little slow to come into the understanding sometimes. This was a life-changing event for me. My grandfather then picked up his book, pushed back his glasses, and commenced reading. Because at this time, my grandfather had not ever denied me anything. This was worrisome. I was fretting over this. This was rocking my world. So I continued. I didn't even sleep well that night. The next day, I still kind of worried about this. Now, the three of us, my grandfather, my grandmother, and myself, were all sitting on the Davenport, and I was watching Gunsmoke. And this commercial came back on. And when it was over, I leaned over past my grandmother and I said, "Grandpa, what if I clean up the dog mess and rake up the leaves?" He put down the newspaper, he leaned back over, and he says, "Well, you do that anyway. That's how you get your allowance." Now, without thinking, I just blurted out, didn't even give it a thought. "What if I don't take an allowance?" And with that, he put down his newspaper, smiled at my grandmother, and my grandmother got up and walked out of the room. And he says, "Now you have my attention." Now I just stumbled across something. I didn't know what for sure. He said, "Well, we'll have to check with headquarters since she does all the shoe buying. But I think you got a deal. You want to pump pause on it?" And he reached out his hand and we shook on it. Now I swear to this day, I could run faster and jump higher because my grandmother was coming out of the room and she had this little brown box, and on there I saw that logo, and they were PF Flyers. Now I no longer have those tennis shoes, but I have the lesson. And the lesson that he showed and he taught me was just because we're selling, and we're selling all the time, whether we're selling to our family, our friends, our co-workers, our lovers, our brothers, our sisters, our bosses, every day we're selling something. That doesn't mean they're buying. As Toastmasters, as we stand up here and we present our one-way conversation, we need to start asking questions. What's in it for you? Why are you here? What benefit are you getting? Because oftentimes I hear presenters stand up day in and day out and they give a really good speech to the wrong audience because they didn't take the time to ask the questions. Every time you get ready to write your speech, you need to be asking the questions. What's in it for you? What is your benefit? What are you going to walk away with? And as you're preparing that one killer sentence in your speech, you need to be asking this question. What's in it for you? Because as Toastmasters, when we're up here speaking, we're selling a concept, an idea, a story. That's what good speakers do. Now, my grandfather taught me many things, but this one really stuck out to me. And ladies and gentlemen, here's what I want to tell you. I'm up here selling. Are you buying? Thank you very much.